You know, the funny thing is, some people, they apply for a Navy Fed credit card and they get denied, and then they just walk around and saying, hey, listen, I have perfect credit. I don't know why I have a good job. I don't know why they have denied my ass. Well, in today's conversation, I want to speak about Navy Federal credit card application timing. I'm going to share with you a few hacks and teach you how to never apply for a credit card during specific periods. There are some time windows where you want to back off and not apply, so that you can boost your chances when you apply at a later date. Very important. So you are going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. So stick around. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to speak to you about Navy Federal credit card application timing, and I'm going to give you a few hacks and how to make sure that you never apply during specific time periods, okay? First of all, DTI and CUR. So when you have a high DTI, debt to income ratio, or high credit utilization ratio, son, daughter, grandpa, grandma, everybody, never apply. Never apply. You will be just wasting your time, because Navy Fed tracks your DTI. They track your CUR, especially if you have several credit cards with them. They know that, hey, listen, your CUR, your credit utilization ratio is high, because in the aggregate, for example, if they give you, let's say in the aggregate, across all cards, they give you limits of $25,000, and they see that you are carrying $15,000 outstanding on those cards, that's kind of high for a CUR, son. That's very high. So you want to bring your credit utilization ratio to a logical amount, what we call a logical amount. Anything below 30% is great. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you to carry any balance, whatever balance, or any balance whatsoever on your credit card, because, you know, there are people who carry no balance on their credit cards. In other words, you have a CUR of 0%, but hey, listen, life is sometimes complicated, and not everybody can carry zero balance on their credit cards, including yours truly. I mean, stuff happens. You got to keep some balance. But if you are keeping some balances on the credit card, make sure it is very low. Okay, in proportion to the limit that you have, make sure it is around 25 to 30% or less. And don't you want to listen to people who are trying to razzle-dazzle you with things like midnight hacks, 91-3 rule? Okay, hey, listen, hey. You know, those are things that are really those things really piss me off. Listen, somebody's going to tell you, hey, listen, you can apply for a Navy Fed during, even if you have a high DTI or CUR, don't worry, you can apply around midnight, between midnight and 2. This is kind of really, it's silly. You know, hey, listen, hey, I'm saying this one last time. You know, can you believe that NFCU, Navy Fed, is a military institution? You know, boy. Precious Lord of my ancestors, have mercy. Have mercy. People are just trying to razzle-dazzle you, telling you that you can apply for a Navy Fed credit card between midnight and 2, and or you follow a rule called 91.913. Do you remember? Can you remember that NFCU is a military institution? So you are going to hack into a military institution? Think about that. Think about the silliness of that. You are, you know, your ass is going to hack into a military institution. Of all institutions, the world's best credit union is going to have some kind of loopholes in its credit system. So you, of all people, instead of sleeping at midnight, you are going to hack into the systems of a military institution. That's just silly. It's silly. But hey, listen, I'm here to say one last time, do not believe those Disney stories. Another time when you should not apply for a credit card, for a Navy Fed credit card, is when you have a weak relationship with the institution. Basically, you have to understand this has to be a give or take, and this goes for John Willis. You are in Georgia, you are in ATL Atlanta, and you asked us a question about, can you apply for a credit card with NFCU if you have not established a strong relationship? Our answer to you and to all viewers is that no. You want to build a relationship with the Navy Fed. Now, there might be some exceptions. People talk about, hey, listen, I just joined Navy Fed and they gave me 20 grand on a credit card. Those are exceptions. Whereas here, speaking about the standard procedure, things you can follow to improve your relationship with Navy Fed. Okay, we've said this again. We've said this before. I'm going to say it again because repetition is the mother or father of teaching. You want to have at least 2 accounts with Navy Fed. Don't let anybody confuse you trying to tell you, hey, listen, just have a checking account. No. Hey, son, daughter, niece, nephew, I'm talking to everybody. Aunt, uncle, I'm speaking to everybody. You want to open at least 2 accounts. You want to have a checking account. You want to have a savings account. Those are minimum. Those are quite essential elements in your Navy Fed arsenal. And then we actually strongly encourage you to think about having a money market account. This will help you not just buttress your savings ability, but also increase your relationship, improve your relationship with Navy Fed. You want to think about IRAs. If you have some cash you want to park on the side, hey, listen, go ahead and do it. Okay, son, I believe in you. I believe in your retirement. So an individual retirement account with Navy Fed is a great opportunity for you to buttress, for you to solidify your retirement. Also, same thing with the certificate of deposit. So the bottom line here is what? When you have a weak relationship with Navy Fed, it is bad timing to apply because they are going to look at a constellation of things before approving you. They're going to look at your relationship with them. They're going to look at your Navy Fed internal score. They're going to look at your employment. They're going to look at your overall financial situation. So you always want to apply for a Navy Fed credit card when, for example, when you have, let's say, you have a direct deposit set up into a Navy Fed account. That way they see that you are financially stable, you are making money, you are working. Those are great tools. Those are great criteria when it comes to credit card, Navy Fed credit card approval. Employment. So when you have a tricky, what I call a tricky employment situation, you don't want to apply. You don't want to apply unless you have a strong relationship. I mean, you listen again, sometimes it's kind of funny. People send us emails, they ask us questions. They talk about, hey, listen, I've watched this YouTube. They actually were talking about I can apply for a Navy Fed credit card when I'm jobless. When I have no revenue, and this is a top YouTuber, blah 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 blah. Precious Lord of Origins, have mercy again. When we hear this kind of stories, we're not here to discourage anybody. If you don't have no job, your first goal should be to find a job, not to apply for a Navy Fed credit card, not to actually add on to your existing debt situation. Are we seriously encouraging our kids, our brothers and sisters, our family members to apply for credit cards when they should be looking at buttressing, they should be looking at solidifying, they should be looking at strengthening their financial situation? Definitely not. So it is a bad timing when you don't have a job. So if you have a job loss or you have an unsteady employment phase, in other words, your paychecks are not really stable. 1 month you get $1,000, another month you have $700 or $1,500 and whatnot. So it's all about making sure that you really solidify your employment situation first. Now, there is an exception where Navy Fed could actually approve your credit card is when you have lost your job, but you have had a job recently. In other words, you lost your job not long ago, and while you had your job, you had direct deposit. See, direct deposit is really sweet because it tells Navy Fed about a lot of things. It tells them how much you make or you were making before losing your job. It tells them how often you were being paid and who your last employer was. Okay, and so if you had so this is kind of cool, but if you have a long period of unemployment, you definitely, again, do not want to apply for a credit card. This would not be wise advice. Okay, you want to, first of all, you want to actually stabilize your situation financially, but also professionally, and then you can apply for a credit card. Another time when, son, I don't want you to apply, I don't want your ass to apply for a Navy Fed credit card, is when you are applying for, let's say you are looking for a mortgage. You know, the thing here is that, hey, listen, whether you are going to finance your new house or your new condo or whatnot through a Navy Fed or another institution, when you are trying to get a house, you're trying to buy a property, don't apply for a Navy Fed credit card or for any other credit card for that matter. Why? Because you have multiple inquiries. Because a mortgage is a significant investment, is a significant, I would say, criterion in terms of your financial stability. There's a lot of cash going on in that venture, in that journey, right? So you want to wait. It's all about timing everything in life, and when it comes to credit in general, it's all about timing, son. Okay, did you hear that? It's all about timing. And the thing is that, hey, Grandpa, I'm speaking to you too. I'm speaking to you, and Grandma, I'm speaking to you, Dad, Mom, everybody has to understand that when you are looking for a mortgage, don't apply for a Navy Fed credit card. Because remember, the lower FICO score, if you have inquiries because you are trying to apply for a credit card, the inquiries will lower your FICO score. And I want you to think logically here. But do you want to have the best APR of your life on a credit card, or would you rather have it on a mortgage? Think about it. I mean, this is country logic, right? A mortgage is important. I mean, 1% difference in the APR on a mortgage makes a huge difference, but 1% lower APR doesn't make a lot of difference on a credit card. Even if you have a balance of, let's say, $50,000. I mean, you're buying a house of $300,000 or $400,000 or $1 million. You want to have an APR as low as possible. So the point I'm trying to make here is that you want to preserve your FICO score to make sure it is as high as possible. And so after you close the deal, after you bought a house, yes, you can do whatever you can apply. You know. So the bottom line is you want to wait to be approved for your mortgage before applying for an NFCU credit card. Very important, son. Okay, daughter, it's all about timing. It's all about strategy. Very important. Another time when you should not apply for a Navy Fed credit card, and this is for all of y'all who sort of love having NSF events. What's up with that? What's up with this crazy? And you know, boy, there are some people. I mean, you know, the funny thing is there are some NFCU members, they just love having overdrafts here and there. This is kind of crazy. It is. First of all, you don't want to have overdrafts in your NFCU accounts, checking accounts or savings account. Okay, and it's important when we talk about overdrafts, so we talk about NSF events in general, non-sufficient funds events in general. Hey, Grandpa, if you are currently guilty, quote unquote guilty, of NSF events, I want you to stop that attitude. You know, that's that kind of cheap ass, stingy ass attitude of not controlling your accounts, of constantly spending more than you can afford. What's up with that? What's up with that? Talk to me about that. I mean, what are you going to do to fix the situation? You know, are you reveling in having NSF events every now and then? No. We better stop that. Stop that. Grandma, this message is for you too. Mom, pop, uncle, niece, nephew, and I'm speaking to the whole family here. Okay, so you are concerned what if if I have not mentioned you, I want you to know that I'm still thinking of you. The bottom line, what is the bottom line? The bottom line is that you want to portray a good account holder. You want to tell Navy Fed you are a good account holder before you apply for a credit card. See, there are little things, you know. The funny thing is sometimes we get nasty comments, people talking about, hey, listen, what is the relationship between NSF events and credit card application? Well, there is a strong correlation between how you handle little things like overdrafts and how you are going to handle credit card balances. See, it's very important that if you cannot handle $25 or $50 or $100 in terms of making sure you have enough money in your account at all times, how are you going to handle $5,000 or $10,000 on a credit card as a credit card balance? So when we talk about NSF events, we talk about the frequency of those events. We talk about the amounts that are overdrawn, because Navy Fed checks that. They check that, and those little things impact your score, including your Navy Fed internal score. And you might have some check systems implications which you don't want anyway. You don't want to have a check systems record anyway. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. I'm still having a conversation with you about Navy Federal credit card application timing hacks, and I'm speaking to you about certain periods where you should never apply for a Navy Fed credit card. And let's talk about FICO score. Son, where are you at? Where you at? Just talk to me about your FICO score right now. Are you in the basement? Are you around 300? As I was 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I was like around 400 or 450, and that was 30 years ago. So I know, being there, done that. So, today, yours truly is around 833. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, precious Lord. I appreciate all the journey I've been through, and some of my team members are around 840. That's just fantastic. But the point I'm trying to make here is that if you have a low FICO score, your first situation, your first goal, your first mission should not to be applied for a credit card, but you want to pay attention to, well, first of all, it depends on how low the score is. Okay, obviously, if you have a score of 375, it's not the same thing if you have a score of 575. So we're speaking about proportions here. It's all about proportions. Okay, so you got to think about, and that's actually the question I have for you. What is causing the low FICO score? Talk to me, son, daughter. Hey, talk to me. Don't you try to razzle dazzle me. Just tell me the truth. What's really causing the FICO score drop? What is it? Lifestyle? Financial mismanagement? You're trying to go to Acapulco every summer, even though you cannot afford it. What is it? Let's have a conversation about that. Again, trying to be honest with yourself and trying to be honest with me, because all I want is your ass to be approved when you go to a Navy Fed and when you apply for a credit card at Navy Fed. So think about, if you have a low FICO score, do not apply, but you want to think about not apply for a credit card at Navy Fed. You want to think about what's causing the low FICO score. Is it your payment history? Is it your CUR, your credit utilization ratio? It is the length of your credit history. It is your credit mix. What is it? Let's have a conversation about that, because the answers to those questions are preeminent. They are important. They are critical to understanding whether or not it is a great time for you to apply for a Navy Fed credit card. For example, if you have a high CUR, let's say your credit utilization ratio is already at 70% or 80%. Do you really think it's time to apply for a new credit card, or just trying to first reduce whatever limits you have, whatever outstanding limits you have, and once you have taken care of business and you are satisfied of the progress, and you can bring down your CUR to, let's say, 30% or 35% or whatnot, then you can apply for a credit card. The last time where it's not good, it's not good to apply for a Navy Fed credit card is if you have a recent card. Let's say you have already received a recent card from Navy Fed. So let's say you apply for the cash rewards, so you got it, and now you want to apply for the Go rewards. Not a smart move, boss. Not a smart move. I've said this before. We've said this on other shows. Don't you listen to people talking about the 91-3 rule? This is a myth. And I don't care what your ass wants to believe, or if you hate my ass for saying that, that's fine. I really don't care. And you can even throw some hot Tabasco sauce on my face. That's fine. I mean, I love Tabasco sauce anyway. But my point is that people are talking about you can apply for a new NFCU credit card after 91 days or three credit card statements. You know, if you want to believe that, that's fine. But we are here telling you, my team has been, we have been members of NFCU, and I've said this before, more than 30 years. So when we hear stories like this, we just want to go to Disney and watch a movie, not even believing the story. So when you have recently applied for a credit card and gotten it from Navy Fed, you want to wait. You want to wait for 3 to 6 months. You want to use the card responsibly. You want to make sure that you have a stellar record of on-time payments all the time. So this is going to help you build your Navy Fed, increase your Navy Fed internal score, increase your FICO score, and increase your overall suitability for another Navy Fed credit card. Okay, so think about the last time you applied for a card. Was it 3 months ago? Was it 6 months ago? Was it 9 months ago? Did you get it? What was the outcome? What was the outcome of that application? Okay, if you didn't get it, and so the Navy Fed probably gave you the reasons for their denial. What were the reasons? Have you fixed those issues? Are you comfortable that now that you can actually apply and get the card? See, we always have to be strategic when we apply for a Navy Fed credit card. This is really important. So, son, daughter, one thing it's important is that it is a bad timing. It is a bad time to apply for a credit card if you have recently gotten a credit card. Don't forget that. Work on that credit card that you already have. Try to use it responsibly. Try to use it ethically. Try to make sure that you think about your financial future, your current financial future, your current financial situation, but also your future financial situation. Very important. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I was talking to you about NFCU credit card application timing hacks, that there are certain time periods where you should never apply for a credit card at the Navy Fed. So when your DTI CU are high, when you have a weak MPR, your employment situation is kind of rocky. You know, you were applying for a mortgage, you've had some NSF events, you have a low FICO, or you have recently gotten from Navy Fed a credit card. Thank you so much. God bless you. Until next time, stay marvelous.